Hello and welcome to Supt Scoop. I'm your host and the proud superintendent of the Mount Vernon City School District, Dr. Kenneth Hamilton. We have a great show lined up for you today. Joining me will be our orchestra teacher, Ms. Normalisa Thomas, and several of our award-winning orchestra students. Also joining me will be several high school seniors for a round-table discussion on their high school experience here in Mount Vernon. But first, let's take a look at some of the things that are making headlines here in the district. On April 17th, the Board of Trustees adopted a proposed budget of $251,979,860 for the 2018-2019 school year. The proposed budget will result in a 0.89% increase on the tax levy. This is the lowest of all districts in Westchester and Putnam counties and the first tax rate increase since our administration arrived in 2014. The budget is $5.8 million, or 2.36% more than last year's spending plan. The budget funds staff, programs, and capital improvements that will keep the district moving toward the goals set forth in the 2020 vision for academic excellence. Our main focus remains first and foremost on student achievement and success, starting with our youngest students and remaining consistent through graduation. This budget supports the district's move toward full-day pre-K for all students and the establishment of 3 theme-based high schools of choice, which will open in the fall. The proposed budget also includes funding for 5 new pre-K classrooms, pre-K director, teachers, staff, facilities, safety upgrades inclusive of fire alarms, exit lights, security system, building restoration of Edward Williams School, including an auditorium, complete restoration of Columbus School auditorium, Mount Vernon High School culinary arts kitchen renovation, and phase 2 of the district's reconfiguration to neighborhood pre-K through 8 buildings. In March of 2016, the school board unanimously approved the 2020 bond vision to restore academic excellence in the district schools. The community overwhelmingly supported the bond. This marks the first year taxpayers will begin paying for the improvements being made district-wide. It was originally estimated in 2016 that a household with an average home assessment would see a tax increase of about $14 per month. Thanks to cost savings from budget streamlining and consolidation of services, an average household will only see about a $6.82 monthly tax increase. The proposed budget is 100% aligned with the Board of Education's goals to create systems to promote student achievement and increase outcomes, paying particular attention to subgroups to close the achievement gap and implement a multi-year plan for improving buildings, grounds, and facilities, including the exploration of private and public partnerships. Residents are reminded to go to the polls on Tuesday, May 15, 2018, between the hours of 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. For more information about the proposed 2018-2019 school budget and where to vote, please go to the district website at mtvernoncsd.org/community/budget. June is just around the corner, and that means the 2017-2018 Superintendent's Reading Challenge Carnival will be here before we know it. In support of the annual carnival, we will once again host the Superintendent's Reading Challenge fundraiser from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Monday, May 21st at Barnes & Noble of Eastchester at the Vernon Hills Shopping Center, 680 Post Road in Scarsdale. The Superintendent's Reading Challenge has been very successful in encouraging students to read hundreds of thousands of books the past few years. There will be a celebrity guest author, in addition to a silent auction of themed baskets, where a portion of the proceeds for all purchases will be donated to the Superintendent's Reading Challenge. Proceeds will provide Nook tablets and digital books for students to further support their reading. Tickets may be purchased in advance for $75 or at the door for $100 each. Visit the district website for a link to purchase tickets through brown paper tickets or stop by the Board of Education office at 165 Columbus Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York. Checks should be made payable to the MVPTA Council. For more information, please contact our district clerk, Mr. Rick McCormick, at 914-665-5235 or rmccormick@mtvernoncsd.org. Congratulations are in order for Demario Lee Budai and Juan Franco, juniors at Nellie Thornton High School, for their recent induction into the inaugural class of My Brother's Keeper's Fellow. The students selected by the Mount Vernon City School District were among 36 young men representing 18 school districts across New York State. The State Department launched the Fellows Program to provide the next generation of New York State decision makers with authentic leadership opportunities in government, education, and business. The induction ceremony was part of the second annual My Brother's Keeper statewide symposium held in Albany, New York. Budai and Franco, along with their mentors, Dr. Gabriel Wade and Mr. Alan Gonzalez, attended the two-day symposium on the MBK initiative. The Northeast Anesthesiological Services and the MBK mentor, Dr. Gabriel Wade, will provide a 4 to 6 month fellowship for both Budai and Franco. Together, the fellows and mentors will focus on the overarching goals of MBK Fellows, as well as the development of a plan to address racial disparities related to nutrition and health among school-age children. The Fellows will aim to achieve the following 4 objectives: examine research which links good health with school achievement, identify age groups and neighborhoods most vulnerable to the effects of poor nutrition, addressing racial health disparities and food distribution patterns, design plans for researching policy and decision makers, including adults and families, community leaders, such as those involved in the Mount Vernon Community Garden, as well as food providers, especially in grocery stores and school food programs, sharing planning and implementation of neighborhood residents, including children. The purpose of the mentorship is to provide guidance for the service project, ensuring that the project conforms with the New York State MBK initiatives and milestones. The mentorship will also expose the MBK Fellows to the world of policy making, legislation, community service, civic engagement, entrepreneurship, and other valuable learning experiences. Budai and Franco's service projects will address 4 MBK milestones, including expanding prevention, early warning and intervention services, responding to structural and institutional racism, make comprehensive and coordinated support services widely available, and engage family and communities in trusted and respectful ways. The Fellows will also be a part of the statewide MBK Fellows Work Group, which will give them a chance to offer input on the creation and implementation of a statewide MBK mentoring network. My Brother's Keeper, established by former President Obama, aims to ensure that the nation's boys and young men of color have equal opportunities to achieve. In the lead roles was Ajane Thomas as Celie, Kalila Hines as Nettie, and Miriam Sadekhan as young Celie, and Jasmine Fuller as young Nettie. The musical was directed and produced by Evelyn Collins, with musical direction by Alvin Waddles, set design by Janet Rush, lighting design by Antoinette Tynes, choreography by Samuel Reed, vocal direction by Terry Cann, and costume designs by Gladys James. According to Ms. Collins, the cast and crew rehearsed 6 days a week for 5 weeks to create a memorable theatrical and musical experience for the community. Coming after the unexpected encore performance of The Lion King Jr. did not allow a traditional 3-month rehearsal period. The student works like professionals for 3 to 4 hours each day. The short rehearsal period was unusual for students and aligned with standards of professionals. It was truly a magnificent experience and performance. Coming up in our next segment, we will chat with our orchestra director about their recent trip to Orlando, Florida to participate in the 2018 Orlando Music Festival. We'll be right back with a great show. Thanks for joining us. Joining me now in this segment are 3 students from Nellie Thornton High School, 3 of our seniors. And I invited these students to be on this segment of the show because these are students who represent the 4-year cohort under the current administration. So I wanted an opportunity to have these students just talk about their experiences in the district and what growth they've seen and experienced as students who have been a part of this amazing journey. So joining me now are Jonathan, Carolyn, and Jamila, who are, again, 3 students from Thornton High School. So welcome to Supt Scoop.
Thank you for having us.
So let's get right into the discussion. So one of the things that I'm interested in knowing from a student's perspective is What changes have you seen over the last 4 years during your high school experience? And we'll start with you, Jonathan.
Well, throughout the 4 years of attending Nellie Thornton, I think one of the changes that I've seen is the security. I feel a lot safer at Nellie Thornton. I think that's something that you guys strive to enforce is our safety, especially with the recent school shootings that we've been having. I think safety has been a #1 priority.
Oh, that's a very good perspective. Carolyn, what about you?
Education. The teachers and the counselors have been amazing to us. They have made us feel very prepared for the future and what we would be doing. So I think they have taken on a new role for the last 4 years, and it's been amazing.
Awesome. And Jamila, what about you? What are your experiences like?
The academic programs we have the NY Gear Up after school. It's a great opportunity to help students after school with any issues they have. It's also helped me also. If I have any struggles with school, like my math classes, I'll go help them. Yeah.
So one of the things that we've been really trying to work on from an administrative perspective is making sure that whatever programs and services we provide to our students, that they are competitive in terms of what some of our surrounding more affluent communities are able to provide their students in order to prepare them for the future. So we've been particularly interested in learning about how well are we preparing our kids for college, and how well are we preparing them to function effectively in the workplace? Do you feel that you have the skills now to really get into college and or get into the workplace? Carolyn?
Yes, definitely. I think the teachers are preparing us for what comes after high school. They have been there with us for 4 years, and they are motivating us to keep going. They want us to break down barriers to show just because we didn't grow up in the best place possibly, we can still accomplish things.
I think that's an amazing perspective. I appreciate that. Jamila, what would you say?
I'll say yes, definitely also.
Okay.
Thornton has also helped me basically, oh my gosh. I achieved my goals. I'm the top 3 in the school.
Awesome.
So I've worked very
Congratulations.
hard. The counselors have also helped me with anything I needed help with. Yes, Mount Vernon is not the best place to grow up in, but it also helped me. It just basically molded me.
Okay, I'm going to come back to that. I want to talk about that a little bit. Jonathan, what about you?
I also agree. I think that they've prepared me. They constantly remind us of what we're going to be facing in college, and they also remind us about what the real world has for us. So I feel very prepared.
So we're going to shift gears a little bit and talk about your college acceptances. What was that process like? Do you feel that you were guided through that process? And how did you ultimately decide where you're going and what you want to major in? Jamila, why don't we start with you this time?
I narrowed down all the schools I got accepted into, being money-wise, academic-wise, and how close it is to home. So for all the schools I got accepted in, some schools are very expensive. Yes, they may have a good academic program, but it will put me in debt in the future. So I narrowed it down to a school that was perfect for me. They have the best nursing program. They're very close to home. They'll help me they'll help me achieve my goals in the future of becoming a nurse.
So where are you going and what are you going to major in?
I'm going to Mercy College. I'm gonna major in nursing. I'm gonna go to be a nurse practitioner, hopefully to become a medical doctor.
Oh, very good. Awesome. Carolyn, where are you going?
I'm going to SUNY Fredonia. I'm going to be studying business marketing and a minor in communications because I want to work in a very big company one day, helping them achieve their goals.
Awesome. And Jonathan?
I'll be attending Lehman College. I'll also be studying nursing.
Awesome. That's very good. So each of you have kind of said something about growing up in Mount Vernon and implying perhaps that maybe it was not the best place to grow up in. Talk a little bit about that. What do you mean by that? Jonathan?
Well, there's always a stigma attached to Mount Vernon. It's not the wealthiest community, and a lot of times people kind of have a bad perception of people that come from Mount Vernon, but that's not the case. Mount Vernon's a great city. We have a great school district. It might not be as wealthy as other school districts, but it gets the job done, and that's what's important.
Very good. I appreciate you saying that. Carolyn?
In response to what Jonathan said, I completely agree. There is something surrounding Mount Vernon saying we can't do this, we can't do that, but I feel like as the generations are passing, we are breaking down that barrier, showing yes we can, we will be the future of Mount Vernon, and we will come back and help Mount Vernon because we grew up here and we do all that because it molded us into what we are now.
Amazing. Jamila?
I completely agree with them. Mount Vernon also, since it's not the best place to grow up in, they also, just because Mount Vernon has that whole thing around them, oh, Mount Vernon is bad, the kids are not smart enough. We broke down the barrier. It's basically said we're going to become successful, being that anything that will happen to us, we're going to make sure we do it. We're going to achieve our goals. We're just going to keep going for the best in life.
So one of the things that I try to do as a superintendent is to stay connected to kids. So, you know, I have the student focus group, and that focus group, we meet every month, and they kind of share their experiences with me. But then there are also a host of other youngsters that I don't get to have this kind of conversation with on an intimate level. And I think your perspective about the perception surrounding Mount Vernon is an accurate one. But I don't really think I understand why that perception exists. Why do you think that perception, from a student's perspective, why do you think people have that perspective about Mount Vernon in particular?
Well, maybe it's because of the community. Like I said, we're not the wealthiest, so you might see that in a lot of the houses,
Okay.
a lot of the streets. We're also one of the oldest counties, I think, in Westchester, so that might have to do a lot with it.
Okay. What do you think that may be related to?
I
Carolyn?
think it has to do with the crime rates in Mount Vernon and just the behavior that certain people exhibit, and that rubs off on their kids or on their community.
Okay. Jamila?
I also agree with Caroline. It will be the crime rate and the gangs going around in Mount Vernon. All the bad things that kids in Mount Vernon would see, they'll basically just feed off of it, and they'll go into it. They would just want to be with it. Yeah.
So you guys have been here for a while, and the last 4 years, again, under this current administration. What has been the one thing you think has kept you from being a part of the statistics that perpetuate this negative image about Mount Vernon? What helped you make the kinds of choices that kept you on the right path?
I think my school, Nellie Thornton, had to do a lot with it, and my family. Nellie Thornton, it provides a family atmosphere. I feel very comfortable with everyone there. Everyone there is very encouraging. Everyone there wants you to do the best that you can. And my family also helps me a lot. Keeps me in check, kind of.
Oh, that's very important. Absolutely.
Definitely what Jonathan said, Nellie Thornton is definitely like another home for you. So if your home situation isn't the best, when you go to school, that pressure's relieved. And also for me, to keep myself motivated, I didn't have the best two influences with my older brothers, so with them demonstrating, oh, this isn't the way, I knew that I wanted to do something more than they did, and that's kept me motivated to graduate.
Awesome. Jamila?
The family and my environment around me, it just pushes me to achieve my goals. I'll just continue to go. I'll look at the bad things and say, at least I'm not doing that. I'm continuing to go with my goals, keep going, just pushing for the best in life.
Do you think that you three are the exception to the rule, or are most of our children, most of our students cut from the same cloth? And is it a small fraction of youngsters who help perpetuate that negative image, and the vast majority of our kids are really good, positive youngsters like yourselves, or do you think it's the reverse? Carolyn, why don't you start?
I would have to say it's the reverse. We know what we want in life, and that's our motivation to keep going. Not everyone knows what they want in life, so they're trying different things, seeing where do I feel happiest, and that's where possibly their downfall is.
Okay. Jamila?
I also agree with Caroline, it's the reverse. Because kids in Mount Vernon, we'll look at everybody, we'll say, okay, they're doing this, doing that, but we'll continue to go with our goals. We won't listen to what people tell us to try to put us down. We'll just continue to achieve the goals, keep doing the best to make the best.
And Jonathan, lastly, you can close that part out.
I also agree with them. I feel like everyone has their own motivation, and whatever you want in life, you'll go for it.
So you guys know what's going on with the 2020 vision. You know that there's some major changes that are going to begin in September 2018 after you have graduated. What part of that vision do you feel that you're going to miss out on the most?
For me, I think it's going to be the whole aspect of learning a trade. I remember coming into high school, that's what I really wanted to do, to learn a trade. Sadly, I wasn't able to, so I think that's the only part that I'm going to miss out on.
Okay.
The new opportunities that the students will get, they will be given basically an advantage ahead of what they want to do in the future, and that's definitely something that I know we all wish we could be a part of, but sadly, we'll be graduating.
But yeah, it's sad and good in another sense because you get to start the next chapter of your life,
definitely.
which is always a good thing at this age, right? Jamila?
The various opportunities. Being that September's coming, I know Thornton's going to become a performing arts school. So basically for kids that don't want to go in the same path as the medical field, a teacher, if they want to go in theater, they also have those options. So they're not just like, you know, just squeezed in as, okay, do this, do that. They'll have other options.
Awesome. So what one piece of advice would you give students who are just now following in your footsteps and will stand on your shoulders in terms of their entree into high school? What advice would you give them so that they will sit here 4 years from now and be able to talk about the same kinds of experiences that you're having? Jonathan?
I think try and get everything done as quick as possible. When you come into high school, you kind of lackadaisical at first. You're not really sure how to fit in. Try and get over that as quick as possible so that you can get as much done as possible. The quicker you get your things done, it's the less stress and less headache you'll have later on.
Very good advice. Carolyn?
Keep pushing, keep yourself motivated, keep yourself striving to do good in life. That'll get you far.
Very good. And Jamila?
Stay focused, get everything done, be on your A game, study, do a review, do whatever you have to do to basically get where you want to be in life.
Wow. Well, I thank you guys so much. I think you have been an extraordinary representation of Thornton High School. I appreciate you being here and sharing your experiences, and I hope that you will stay in touch with me via email or Facebook or Instagram, whatever you choose to communicate, so that I can know what's going on with you and what you're doing in your life. And hopefully you'll come back to Mount Vernon and share your experiences with some of your underclassmen as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll be right back with one of our accomplished teachers, Ms. Norma Lisa Thomas, and our award-winning orchestra. Stay tuned. Thank you for tuning in again. Joining me in this segment is Ms. Norma Lisa Thomas, one of our incredible teachers here in Mount Vernon, and 3 students, Kaija, Caesar, and Taylor. And let me take this opportunity, Ms. Thomas, to congratulate you on this incredible accomplishment in winning first place at the Orlando Fest, where our students participated. Please share with us, what was that experience like? Talk about the competition and what that experience was like for our students.
Our students were very excited to participate in the Orlando Music Festival this year, 2018, April. Our orchestra, we were dressed in our gowns, and the boys in their vests and tie. They were very polished and very professional. We were prepared. All our music was ready to go, and I think the students just rose to the occasion of the level of professionalism that I was really looking for in our students, in their behavior, their attitude, their attentiveness to following the directions of all the directors down there. There was a lot going on, and they were just right in sync with everything. I was very proud of them from the moment they arrived to the time we came back to Mount Vernon High School.
Well, I'm very proud of you for preparing our kids for that kind of competition. So what made you think we were ready?
Well, our students had, some of our students were actually beginners in the summer program, and in the way Dr. Collins has our performing and visual arts school set up, our students meet every day for class. So by December, when we actually played for your holiday concert, I was very feeling that we were getting very close to a level of competition. I never thought we would win, but we kept preparing and we kept moving forward with it. The variety of our pieces, of our repertoire, really helped to move us up to a higher level of accomplishment. And I believe the students, having practice every day, they also played in the pit of the Lion King musical, yes. So they had some of that professional experience with other professional musicians. They learned how to take directions from a musical director. So a lot went into this year's experience that I felt, let's just give it a try.
So one of the things that I am particularly impressed with is performance etiquette. And I've noticed that the students, particularly under your leadership, are always very poised and very postured. How do you prepare our students in order to get them to have that kind of stature and meet that standard?
That's very important, Dr. Hamilton, because your body is your instrument. So you are actually connected. You become one. And you know that as a singer, that everything that you do muscularly comes out in your music. So from the very beginning, students have to learn how to sit. They have to learn how to stand. They have to know how to hold their feet, hold their hands, hold their arms. It's very physical. And my background is in Suzuki, so we're taught from the very beginning how to train the child in the way that they should go. So the very beginning is posture, how you sit, how you stand, how you hold the bow. And they come to my concerts. I perform all the time. I'm a professional cellist. So they see how other professional musicians sit and conduct themselves. And it's the attitude of the classical musician that I have been trying to help instill in our students.
And I think you've done a phenomenal job with
you.
doing that. So I want to hear from the students now. So I'm going to start with you, Kaija. I want you to tell us a little bit about what your experience was like. Was that the first time you'd been to Florida?
Yes.
And so what was it like?
It was cool. The plane ride was nerve-wracking and at the same time cool because I've never been on a plane before. So it was a new experience and I was kind of nervous. But then once we got on the plane and after takeoff, it was kind of chill because I had my mom with me, so I knew everything was relaxed. And then I had my friends to talk to, laugh with, and it was fun. To the competition, that was the most nerve-wracking thing of them all because in some parts of the song we had to play fortissimo, and if you mess up, you kind of throw everything off. So you had to make sure that you were practiced enough, you made sure that you were ready, and then we did really well, and the judge came up and talked to us about overpowering and balance because in some songs, some parts of the songs, the harmony overpowered the melody, as he said. So we had to work on that, and we had to work on balancing it out and making sure that we can hear the melody as well as the harmony.
Awesome.
And then the award ceremony, so we got first place, and everybody was surprised, right? So we were all happy. And then when they said grand champion, that threw us all off. It was like, it was so amazing and cool that we won and grand champion at that. And then another part of it was we were the smallest group there. Other groups had like hundreds of kids and we had 35, so it was to see that we outdid everybody else, it was cool.
Wow. So Caesar, what instrument do you play?
Cello.
Cello. So how long have you been playing?
I've played before at Lincoln, and then after, this is my first year playing cello at Mount Vernon, at this school right now. So because of that, I kind of started as a beginner, so Miss Thomas tried to see where I was. So I started off as a Book 3 Suzuki, so I played from there. I went up and I got to play in auditions and everything like that.
Oh, that's amazing. And Taylor, what was the Orlando experience like for you?
It was nerve-wracking and it was a lot of fun. And I'm just happy that we had the opportunity to go to Orlando and participate in Orlando Fest because we were the only Black orchestra there representing the minorities. So it was a good experience to see other orchestras and see how they play and how we're supposed to conduct ourselves. And at the award ceremony, I was very surprised to see that we won first place, and then grand champion came, and then we were going crazy. And all the orchestras were looking at us and seeing how we were conducting ourselves during that moment, but it was so much fun.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. So what was it like coming back, after winning the competition and winning grand champions? What was that like coming back on the plane?
We were proud. We were proud of our teacher. We were proud of ourselves for achieving this goal that we wanted to achieve. So while walking through the airport with the trophies, people were asking us, "Oh, what did you win? What did you win?" And whoever responded to it, we were happy, smiling, saying, "We won first place. We won grand champion," because that's what we did. We worked together as an orchestra to achieve the goal.
I'm glad to hear the unity that you guys talk about in terms of really coming together as a group and recognizing your responsibility to represent the district so well, someplace so far away from home. What's next for you, Caesar? What do you think you'll be doing professionally? Do you think you're going to stick with music?
Professionally, I think for music, it'd probably have like a big part to do in what I'm like, because first off, I could get like a degree to go to college, a good college and everything like that. Plus, like I enjoy playing cello because I just like feel in tune with the music, like specific musics that I like to play a lot. I practice them every day, so like I know them by memory or just like know them and know well to play them. And like I think as a future career, I'd probably be like an engineer or something like that, like electrical engineer or like mechanics and stuff like that. But then like yet again, like I know that like I got a chance to get to college to be all of that because of Miss Thomas. She helped me, she trained me to be like have good posture, how to properly play, how to properly hold the cello. So it's thanks to her that I'm able to like follow my future career.
Oh, very good. Kaija, what do you think you'll be doing? You think you're going to stick with your instrument?
I might. That might be like my second job to do on my downtime. But for main career, I think I want to be a botanist or a marine biologist because I've always took an interest in flowers and plants and stuff to see what they would do. And my mom's best friend's mother, she loves plants too. So like whenever we get a chance, we go in our backyard, look at plants, try and see what's growing, try to figure it out. And then I like water, like because I'm an Aquarius, so I think that's something that has to do with it. But I love water, so I like to look at fish and coral and stuff like that. So I might be a marine biologist or a botanist.
That's amazing. And what about you, Taylor? You going to stick with your instrument?
I will be a lawyer, and after that become a judge. But I think I will be lawyer by day and bassist by night. So like play in jazz club or something that has to do with music because I love playing the double bass. Like,
wow, that's amazing. Well, we have another group of students who are going to be joining us. So I want to thank you, Kaija, Caesar, and Taylor for being a part of this segment. We're going to take a brief pause and ask the other students to come and join us so I can hear about their experience. But thank you so much for being with us and for representing our district so well.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Joining me now are two more students who were part of the trip to Orlando, Jonjaline and Janaya. Welcome to Supt Scoop.
Thank you.
So you heard the first part of this segment where I talked to some of your classmates about the experience. Why don't you tell me, Jonjaline, about your experience? How did you enjoy it? What was it like?
Well, my experience wasn't like the others. It wasn't nerve-wracking. It was just more unexpected because like we've never like done anything like this before. Like we've never slept over like night at a different state or anything like that. We've never performed against other schools like from other around the country, and so it was just different. But it was really fun, and it was like a bonding experience also, cause like we like got to know things like that we didn't know about each other, and we like spent more time than we usually do, cause we only spent time when we practice after school sometimes and during the day.
Okay, Janaya, what about you? I know you're the youngest one in the group, right?
Yes.
So what was it like for you? Was this your first time in Florida?
No, this was my second. It was fun because when we got to Orlando, the first thing we saw, we got on the tour bus, and on our way to the hotel, we got to see Volcano Bay, which is a park, and Universal Studios, and it was fun.
Yeah? So, Ms. Thomas, what's next? Like now after this accomplishment, and I want to make sure the camera captures the Grand Champion Trophy and the First Place Trophy. So now, what's next? Like, how do you top this?
Well, we're not necessarily trying to top it. I just want our string students and our string program to continue to grow. I want our students to continue to achieve a higher level of proficiency in their technical ability. Several of our students are auditioning for outside programs like the Juilliard Music Appreciation Program. All of them are auditioning for that, which is a Saturday program. And I'm looking forward to us moving into our new building at Thornton School. So the Performing Arts Magnet Orchestra will have their own room, their own house, our own home, so to speak. And We expect to expand. We have new students coming in. We have some bassists and some violinists coming over. And so we just look forward to continuing to grow, maybe doing more advanced music, orchestral music, full symphony music, with including some of the band students with us as well.
Very nice. John Jolene, tell me about your instrument. How long have you been playing?
I've been playing since I was in 2nd grade, and I'm in 9th.
Oh,
So,
wow.
for a long time.
You plan to stick with it?
Yeah, probably like outside, like I'll probably, in the future, probably teach my children and things, but I want to become a nurse.
Oh, very good. And Janiyah, what about you?
I've been playing for a few months. I just started in July. And
What do you play?
I play the viola. And yeah.
You think you're going to stick with it?
I do want to become a lawyer, so maybe outside of me being a lawyer, I'll play.
That's amazing. So, as you know, we've put a lot of effort into our performing arts program here in the district over the last several years. And you have a broad spectrum of experience in music and music performance in particular. Where do you see our program going now that you see the talent that is being bred here in Mount Vernon?
That's an amazing question, Dr. Hamilton. I'm actually a product of the LaGuardia School of Music and Art from New York City, and so I grew up in that kind of environment. I would like our students to have an enriched program of music, dance, theater, and just expand into the greatness of the vision that Dr. Collins has for us. I'm very excited to be a part of that. And I believe our students will continue to grow and expand and have experiences such as the Orlando Music Fest. I would love to take them to Europe one day. I mentioned this, you know, in passing, that I was able to travel to Vienna, and I was actually in Mozart's house where he was born, and other places like that in Austria. And so, you know, the world is at our fingertips. And as an artist and as a musician, you can experience the world through the arts. And I would like our students to have further, broader exposure to the world.
Well, I appreciate you having that vision and that experience that we can capitalize on and capture for our students. So thank you, young ladies, for being a part of Supt Scoop. Ms. Thomas, thank you
Dr.
for all that
Hamilton.
you do. This has been an amazing segment. I enjoyed hearing about this. Even when I got the notification that you guys had won, I was home and I was just so excited that I knew you guys were going, obviously, but I had no idea you were going to win not only first place, but grand champion. That's quite an accomplishment, and it gives our program a level of credibility now that we've been striving for.
May I just add one other point?
Please do.
Our winning, the judge came on stage and he gave a critique to the students as part of the discussion. And one of the things that he said was the variety of what we presented. We had students who played violin concerto. We had classical pieces. We had contemporary composers, as well as music from the movies, and a jazz arrangement that Mr. Gorey had written for us. So we had a nice full range. And so I just think that it's important that as string players, that they would learn and be exposed to a variety of genre of music, and because that's what the world has out there for them. And I'm just very excited that we were able to present that in this concert this year.
So am I. And music is, after all, a universal language.
Yes.
So thank you so much for being a part of this segment. Thank you, our viewing audience, for tuning into Supt Scoop, and we'll see you next time.